Okay, tonight is October 11th, 2019. Let's see what tonight's topics are. Okay, Kevin is a public nuisance. This is the ongoing scam of theirs for who knows how many years. It just jumps from fiction to fiction or whatever, where mass groups hunt me down and try to eradicate my existence. I can't tell you what angles they're working on today. All I can tell you is at 29, Mike Huntley's death threats with the police and government. We've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. You better live a careful life. Singing World of Paranoia, dropping papers on my desk about making people paranoid or mentally able to control them. Mike Huntley sent after me at a young age, and some of the things he and my family are mad about is Mike Huntley introducing me to a stripper named Melody, and her going to will you help me bounce at a home bachelor party or some cheeseball thing like this, and that somehow is the end of the world, how I need to be hunted and killed with billions of government dollars. It actually was going on before that. Kevin is a public nuisance. Kevin hasn't done a thing to anyone but be the nicest person known to man, and person after person told to hunt him, eradicate him, me, try to lock me in jail cells, mental institutions, you name it. And almost every person worldwide I'm in contact with endlessly passive-aggressively, or sometimes aggressively, provoking me in anger and rage. So, I'm supposed to go to therapy to have people bash my skull in and end my existence or lock me away in cages of mental institutions. And I am going to therapy, and my therapist has witnessed everything and has seen, as she stated on a lot of the videos, I'm doing nothing wrong but sitting there being the nicest person and being mobbed to death my entire life. Okay, so I can't tell you what this week's fabrication to try to silence me and lock me away. Remember, Mike Huntley's words were using the system against you after me stopping my brother from bashing Gregoire's skull in with a crowbar, and my brother giving me the blood is thicker than water speech, and how I need to support like a murdering family or something and help hunt down and stalk my friend, excuse me, Gregoire, which I said no, absolutely not. And he wanted me to spy on Gregoire, do all sorts of weird shit, and I didn't want to. So they go out and they do all their road rage shit, and they go, Kevin did it. And ironically, so does everyone else in my life. So it's not just this one incident. All my friends are going out doing all this shit and saying it's Kevin, and then saying Kevin's a public nuisance with the police, to find out that the police are actually telling them to do it, to lock me in a mental institution for reasons I can't comprehend, which started at a very young age. Okay, so I can't really get too specific on that because I'm the only one who isn't a public nuisance, and I'm the target. I'm the gang stalking target, or the target, or the government target that they want me dead, gone, eradicated. Quote unquote, we want to incarcerate Kevin Perlman for life. Okay, so where are we? What is one of the reasons the judicial system is so mad at me about? Believe it or not, they're mad at me for quoting or joking around on my Twitter and social networks my cousin Vinney lines and variation quotes and jokes about my cousin Vinney lines. Now you're going to say, so what? Who fucking cares? Then you're going to say, what, are they spying on your accounts? Yes. And somehow my accounts are being hijacked so the entire planet watches everything I say, and then they get mad at everything I say that nobody normally could give a flying fuck about, and it's kind of like the Howard Stern show. If you don't like Howard Stern, don't listen or watch Howard Stern. If you like Howard Stern, watch and like Howard Stern. If you spy on Howard Stern, especially in mass groups, and then hunt him down saying he's a public nuisance, what does that have to do with the tea in China? Howard Stern is not a public nuisance. The reason I'm using that analogy is because the only thing they say I've done wrong is kind of joke around or clown around on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or have a sense of humor with people. How is that a public nuisance? If someone doesn't like you and they hunt you down and try to kill you, you're not a public nuisance. They shouldn't be by you. They shouldn't be near you. If I don't like Kevin because 30 years ago he told some harmless joke, or any joke for that matter, don't be around me. Stay the fuck away from me, right? To say I'm a public nuisance, well, 30 years ago Kevin said this, so he's a public nuisance. How do you know that? How do you know what I said? And why do you care? And why are you holding on to this harmless thing for 30 years? It's just a word or a sentence anyways, right? Okay, so their whole scam about public nuisance is really, there's a translation. We hate his guts. We hate his kind. We're going to eradicate his kind. His kind is not allowed to have a voice, have a mouth, talk, or we'll either kill him or lock him away in jail cells or mental institutions. And then they'll say he's not getting the appropriate help for just sitting there in isolation watching mass groups mob him to death and try to eradicate him, right? Okay, so getting to the point, Seymour Amster, my previous lawyer, who intentionally lost the trial and intentionally lost the appeals and was barking and yelling at me, he would tell me, he would watch videos of people attack me, and then he'd say, I'm not going to help you get a restraining order. Like, things like, why wouldn't you help me get restraining orders to keep me safe so that I can breathe? My own defense attorney, or most of the attorneys were told to do this, or more importantly, paid off. They're obviously being paid off to try to stop the truth coming out and me getting help. Where am I? Okay, so Seymour Amster was... Okay, when I sit down and go to trial, Seymour Amster says to me, pretend you're in a movie. And I'm like, what? And then he gets mad and he kind of flips it a 180. Be careful what you say. He can throw you in jail instantly. And I'm looking at this guy like, why the fuck are you telling me to pretend that I'm in a movie when he's refusing in his opening and closing arguments to write anything truthful, and he's trying to make me look crazy to begin with, and the entire trial was him leaving out anything truthful. My own defense attorney, Seymour Amster. Okay? Not only that, but he's lied to me. He's lied to my therapist. My own therapist has caught him in meeting. We've had joint sessions or whatever. He's lied. He's done completely... He'll tell her one thing and do the opposite, and she'll see this, and she'll go like, he's a fucking liar, right? This guy's like stealing all my money to lock me away. Okay? Remember that. That's not a defense attorney's job. Now, in trial, he's quoting my cousin Vinney lines because he's mad at me. First of all, what? Does the guy sit around for 30 years spying on my social accounts? Going, 30 years ago, he quoted my cousin Vinney. 30 years ago, he quoted my cousin Vinney. I'm a lawyer. He's ruined my life. He said mean things. Well, I'm sorry. First of all, quoting movie lines is not a crime. It's not plagiarism. Everyone does it. And people don't hunt someone down and lock them away for quoting... Let me rephrase that. Even though this is going from thing to thing that normally nobody could care less about, defense attorneys don't normally hunt people down and try to incarcerate them for life because someone quoted a My Cousin Vinney line. Right? Okay? So it's not really about that. It's about what I know and the child abuse and things done to me growing up and them not wanting me to talk about it. Okay? And still going on with worldwide support to eradicate my kind. Okay. So, let's see. Where are we on my notes? Oh, okay. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I thought of this last night. I mean, my brain is filled with 100,000 similar things to this. Okay, when I was in high school, I wrestled. I wasn't very good, but I wrestled. I was on the wrestling team. Now, ironically, all my friends and family are going out doing all these things, all their chaos and havoc, and they're pinning it on me. Okay, now I can't tell you if that's because they're mad at me for joining the wrestling team. I don't know. But my brother's going out doing all this shit, pinning it on me. My friends are like Eric Johnson blowing up Darren Light's mailbox. Kevin did it. Richard Grunberg and Tom Farley stealing the Woodman skateboards. Kevin did it. I could probably list 100,000 things like this. Kevin did it. Everyone's getting together and we're pinning it on Kevin. Okay? Well, that's kind of fucking strange. And then they're going to go, well, Kevin's a public nuisance because that's what we want Kevin to look like. We have an agenda to eradicate his existence. Right? Okay. One of the things they did to me when I was on the wrestling team, they sent in a black girl to join the wrestling team. Jono, the coach, we had Brock, which supposedly got in a motorcycle accident, which they were trying to work another angle on me. And then Jono took over while Brock was in the hospital. I was between 16 or 18. And, they had a black girl join the wrestling team, and magically, Jono wanted the black girl to practice with me. Interesting, because after I kissed a black girl at 8 years old, I've been labeled a white supremacist. They were also working with a football player named Damon Riggins, who drove a Camaro, who has some kind of personal vendetta against me. I can't really understand why, because like everyone else in my life, I've been the nicest motherfucker known to man. Okay, beyond nice. And if someone's going to try to hold me to a perfection state, you better not ever do one negative, imperfect thing, or we're going to hunt you with worldwide support and billions of dollars. Well, that's not because I'm an asshole or did anything wrong or a public nuisance. That's because some motherfucker wants me dead and gone. And because there's billions of government dollars to do this, since I trace back to 5 years old with my father and their bullshit psychology labels, you get the idea. These are government flagging and eradication operations. Okay? And it's not really about anything other than that or anything I've done now or ever. Okay. So, and they play this game like, you're fucking with us. Well, I don't know who us is or who the fuck you is. All I know is I'm trying to live my fucking life, and there's a worldwide campaign to kill me and eradicate my existence, and no one wants to talk directly about the actual situation, which means they're involved in something, in a conspiracy, and it's highly illegal. Period. It's a mass group of people that formed at a young age, and now it's worldwide, to eradicate my kind and lock me into jail cells or mental institutions, or have me killed, or try to get me to kill myself. They're set up frame jobs. People don't do that for any reason, especially if they say I want you to have a good life. Well, if someone says that, they're not going to be doing things like this. Especially in police uniforms, in courts, lawyers, district attorneys, prosecutors, judges, anyone. If you're about right and wrong, then you're going to say what's being done to Kevin Perlman is unfucking acceptable, period. Okay. So back to the point. My father, first they have Mike Huntley with my father. We want you to move back from California. We want you to move back from California. Mike Huntley, move back to California. Start a business with me. I want to do an internet host provider. Okay, so I moved from University of Colorado right by the end of graduating to California. I start this company with my father. My father wants me to live at his house for a year. He's working on me with Janet Nordette and all these frame job operations. Oh, Kevin's the bad seed. Look what he did to Janet. I didn't do a fucking thing to Janet, just like I haven't done anything to fucking anyone else. I even have fucking texts from Janet or Facebook messages from Janet from a couple of months back, and she's trying to make it look like I'm trying to weasel my weasel into Shane, my little brother, and her son's life to try to get information about my father. I mean, it's flat out the conversation. Her trying to get me to contact Shane to ask things about my father, and I just said, I tell you, this is all text. Janet, I don't give a shit what Shane. I want to know what my fucking father told you about me, while she's spouting off the lies that Shelly was saying about me, right? Once again, I did nothing to Shelly. I did nothing to my father. I did nothing to any of my father's women. They all were just told, make up lie after lie after lie after lie. And then you're like in shock. You're like, why is this fucking psycho lady going after me? I've been the nicest person known to all of you. Okay, so, and that's how it starts at 29, like you're just in complete fucking shock. Like, the very people I loved and thought were the greatest people in the world turned out to be pathological, lying, psychotic murderers trying to lock me in cages and mental institutions like my father does his dogs, right? With shock collars and little cages when dogs could be running around. Okay, so you're dealing with psychotic murderers, paranoid psychotic murderers, whatever you want to call them, sociopaths, narcissists. You can't do anything around them or they hunt you down and try to kill you or eradicate you. Okay, so after the dissolution of Signet with Mike Huntley and realizing that Mike Huntley was sent after me with my brother and his friends, remember my brother, if you watch my other videos, my brother, me and my friends have a bug in your room and we're listening to everything you do on the radio, trying to make me look like a violent paranoid schizo, and Topanga Division LAPD, for some reason, have been paid off and are supporting these fabrications and fictional statements to try to make me look crazy. Okay? Let's see, where are we? So my father, after hiring me to work in his office and telling the entire office, like 28 people, to mentally batter me to death for 14 years straight from the very first minute, and have thousands of people per day show up in his parking lot and follow me from place to place in coffee shops, trying to hunt down, stalk, torture, eradicate, rid me of the world, for reasons I can't comprehend. And I got weirdos following me around going, you said a mean thing. You're in violation of the mean thing crime. Wait, I'm being hunted because some fucker when I was 14 years old thinks I said something mean to them, or I said something mean to them. Example. My one and only argument with my mother up until 29 and finding out what was being done to my life was, fuck you, who cares what people think? My one and only argument. Well, technically you could say you said fuck you to your mother and that's mean, so there's a worldwide campaign with billions of dollars to eradicate you. Did I miss something? Oh, I'm also a public nuisance because I said fuck you to my mother at 14, right? Doesn't make any sense. The translation is, you mouthed off to me, you're a fucking dead man. Has nothing to do with law. Has nothing to do with crimes. Has to do with personal vendettas. Okay, well, these personal vendettas against me start at 5 years old. Okay, so my father then wants to take me out to lunches with Lorena Escobar. Keep in mind, Lorena Escobar was paid since the age of 16 to follow me and hunt me and try to set me up and try to frame me, paying off women to come in my life to cry wolf and try to get me to go after them and all sorts of freaky shit like this. And when I was at Southern Oregon State, they had people like Kelly Hatch follow me up from Southern Calabasas High to Southern Oregon State, working with the police to try to set me up, frame me. When I was in University of Colorado, they were paying off cheerleaders and all sorts of freaky things to try to set me up to make it in hopes they could try to get me to go after women and things like this. Always fail. They still fail. They just keep failing. And so they have to try to make up the cover-up lies. Okay, so Lorena, my dad, after my father hires me to work at Golden State Sports Medical, after my father hires me to work at Golden State Sports Medical, he says, Kevin, you want to come out to lunch with me and Lorena? Then they play this game like I'm violating Lorena Escobar's boundaries as if they're out on dates or something, right? These are business lunches. Dr. Ronald Barry Perlman wants Kevin Perlman, his son, to go out and date, or to go to lunch with him in between work hours. Sure, why not? And Lorena's working with restaurant people to constantly provoke me, and actually my father was too. Now, I'm not going to go through all these hundreds of lunches where they brutally mob me to death, trying to get reactions to make it look like I'm a violent paranoid schizo, which they failed. But I am going to focus on this one point about wrestling. Now, my father is a motherfucking pathological liar and a psychotic murderer. There's no doubt about it. With zero communication skills. And when he feels that he's wrong, he somehow has the ability to literally blast out lies to the entire planet, which is very fucking strange. These 1994 internet-built kill networks, or eradication networks, which my brother wanted me on the internet so bad in 94, were built around me for one purpose, and that's my eradication. Lock me in mental institutions for the things I know that were done to me. Like, I'll just give you one example. Well, I'm giving you more examples, but Mr. Quigley, my 10th grade English PE teacher, told to tell me to punch Paul Schaefer, and I'm failing, and them not wanting me to talk about this. How many people do you know that high school teachers are telling people to punch other students to try to get them expelled or into, like, juvenile hall or something like this, right? Okay. There's an agenda here. And it just keeps going from person to person. Okay, where are we? So they take me out to this one lunch, and Lorena is told to ask me weird, freaky questions, like, do I have violent thoughts? Think about that. Why is my father telling Lorena Escobar to ask me if I have violent thoughts while he's taking me out to lunches to try to get things to use against me with the LAPD, which he'd been doing since a very young age in his hate and rage for me? I can't understand it, but that's what my family's been doing my entire life to me. In the same exact dialogue, remember, there's probably 100 different dialogues like this where my father's trying to get information to cover up his mass crimes. Where are we? Oh, in the same conversation, my father tells me, Kevin, remember when you lit our back hill on fire? Okay, think about that. My father trying to make me look like the bad seed. Okay, now remember earlier in this conversation, I'm talking about my family telling people to do things and then pin it on me. Okay, so the point I'm getting at here, I'll just quickly tell you the story. I'm probably like 12 years old or something, I don't know. Richard Grunberg, our next door neighbor, comes over. Or no, I come outside, and Richard Grunberg is with my brother Jason Perlman. And I'm like, what you doing? Something like that, who knows? This is like 40 years ago. Oh, we're lighting sparklers. Okay. And then I kind of walk away, and they're lighting the sparklers, and they're throwing them down our brush hill. Right? And I'm 12 years old, I'm not really thinking about it. Something like that. And they're throwing sparklers down our back hill. And, they're throwing sparklers down our back hill, and I'm inside the house. Someone's knocking on the door. My dad answers. Your back hill's on fire. And my dad's like, yeah, right, whatever. I don't have fucking time for this. And he, shuts the door. And then, knock, 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 knock. No, your back hill is on fire. And so, anyways, we all go out. The back hill's on fire. We call the fire department. Everyone gets together with hoses and shit. We all put it out. And then the fire department comes over. And, of course, they run over our little garden or whatever. Not that that's really a big deal. I think we got together, the kids and we made a little garden by the back hill or something. I can't remember too well. And so I think there's all sorts of weird movie references about that where they're trying to make it take my life. And anyways, I'm not getting into that aspect. The Kevin conforms the media tactic, I'm not getting into that on this conversation. Okay, so once again, my pathological father is trying to cover this up. Kevin, remember when you lit the back hill on fire? Right? Well, like usual, I didn't light the fucking back hill on fire. Jason did with Richard Grunberg. And now that I'm looking back, my guess is Jason and Richard Grunberg got together with my father and family and police and lit the back hill on fire intentionally so they can run around saying that Kevin did it like everything else. Why do I say this? Because there's hundreds of things that I'm being accused of, probably more like thousands, that other people did. Okay, think about that. If I have to fight off worldwide groups from daily lies, I did everything let me rephrase that. If I have to fight off thousands of things pinned on me for some strange reason, with all these early threats that we're going to put you in a mental institution for stopping my brother from bashing Gregoire's head in with a crowbar and all sorts of other things like that, me showing I'm a really good person, and people in the judicial system saying you're a public nuisance for stopping Jason from bashing Gregoire's head in with a crowbar. Remember, Greg's been recorded confessing that this event did happen and I'm not crazy. Okay, you get the idea. These are agendas for my eradication. Okay, so where the hell was I? I talked about them putting the... I don't think I finished with the black girl on the wrestling team. Jono wanted a black girl on the wrestling team to train with me. She quits within a week. And I think they play this game like I'm taking out my anger and rage on this black girl and beat her to death, and she quit. Well, I can't tell you what exactly was said, but what I can tell you is I've been hunted by black communities and every other racial group and labeled a white supremacist for kissing a black girl at Sunny Skies Day Camp when I was 8 years old. Okay? That's where the whole racial thing starts. I'm a white supremacist for kissing a black girl. Damon Reagan's the black football player with his Camaro in high school, even comes to my office with Mike Huntley after I come back from college working angles on me in some kind of personal anger and rage, like I fucking somehow did something to this guy, which I don't even fucking understand what the fuck these people are mad at me about, because they're not mad at me for anything tangible or anything that anyone normally cares about. Okay, so you get the idea how they're doing these frame jobs. First of all, how many people do you know that women join the boys' wrestling team, and then they just magically want the black girl to train with Kevin, and now there's a whole history of black people hunting Kevin down, still going on at 47, and it's all because I kissed the black girl. Doesn't even really make any sense. And I'm not going into specifics on what they did to prove it, but I can assure you, having the band Devo when I was 8 years old come into Sunny Skies Day Camp singing Whip It Good, trying to make it look like I conform to media and things like that. I don't want to go into the specifics, I'm getting off topic, but I just sort of want to give you enough proof that they don't want me talking about. These are the things they don't want me talking about, the intricacies that I can explain these situations so they make perfect rational sense, even though it's a fucking demented, unheard of situation. Okay. So we're out to lunch. My father's now, once again, taking Jason's things, clearly, with motive, clearly all planned from the beginning, with premeditation. And my father's saying, Kevin, remember when you lit the back hill on fire? And at the same time, Lorena Escobar is asking me if I have violent thoughts. Okay? So now you know my father's a fucking psychotic murderer. Okay. Now, he takes it to the next... This is where things really get freaky. He takes it to the next level. He somehow starts talking about me wrestling in high school He's talking about me wrestling in high school. And he said, I remember when you used to wrestle in high school, I went to every match. Okay? My motherfucking father did not go to any wrestling matches except one. Okay? And I said, you didn't go to any of my wrestling matches, you went to one. No, I went to every one. Okay, so the guy's a fucking pathological lying piece of shit. Why is he even talking about that 30 years later? Because he has an angle. He has an angle to lock his son away in jail cells or mental institutions or off me for the things I know, and him not ever wanting me to talk to anyone on any level, even dating a girl and talking to my life about my life. You understand? Complete censorship. You know too much, you never talk to a person on the planet. Or we eradicate you. Okay. So now this is where things get freaky. For some reason, I don't remember if it was Brock Delp or Jono, the wrestling coach, wanted us to go to Agoura High, and I'll just throw in a tidbit where Tracy Lords, the porn star, went. Kind of our rival school. Agoura High is in Agoura by Las Virgenes in Ventura County, and Calabasas is in Los Angeles County, but they're fairly close. They're like 10 miles distance. So Agoura was always sort of kind of maybe a rival school. It's hard to remember. So Brock or Jono wants us to go. Now, they actually had a much better wrestling team. So one of the coaches wanted us to go down and practice with them for a day. You know, I think it was a total of a couple hours. And I practiced with a guy, and the guy, I can't remember very well, but the guy was like All-State or something, you know, like one of the fucking best in the state at Agoura. Now, I was a complete shitty fucking wrestler. I was just complete crap. Okay, so, I was a crappy wrestler. I was no good. But, you know, I wasn't there to be the best. I was just there to be in high school, join a team, and get an education and do something. So, now that if you ever wrestled, you'll understand the whole wrestling thing where people sort of try to lose water weight to get down a weight class. And so I did that a little, where you kind of run around with a trash bag on and sweat out some water weight. That type of thing, right? So I did that for a while to get down to a water weight, get to a lower weight, and it didn't work out too well because I was unhealthy doing it, and I stopped doing it. My coach is like, I remember losing and walking off the mat, and the coach is like, okay, no more losing weight for you. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, okay? Now, everyone fucking did this in wrestling. I mean, even if you watch, I think, the movie like Vision Quest, he does it, right? He wears his little rubber suit and sweats out water. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that it's the healthiest thing. I'm just going to tell you that that's kind of what the wrestlers did. Okay? Now, the guy, the like All-State dude, that I practiced with for maybe a couple hours, the All-State dude that I practiced with for a couple hours, I don't even know his name. I don't even know who the fuck he is. But I'll tell you this. Okay, so we go, I believe it was the Alamany tournament. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I believe it was the Alamany tournament. My father, this was the one tournament. If it wasn't Alamany, it was a different tournament. This is the one single tournament my father showed up at. He had never been to any of my wrestling matches. Okay, so now you sort of have to make the correlation. Why is my father so defensive about wrestling? What is it he's trying to hide? What is it he's involved in? Okay, well, something happened at this tournament, and I don't even know if it was legit. Let me sort of explain it. My father shows up at this one tournament. Now, remember, my father's a doctor. He's an orthopedic surgeon. Think about this. Think of the context of the situation. Okay, we all wrestle. The guy from Agoura High wrestles. I think he wins. I didn't wrestle the guy. He wrestled someone else. I was like out instantly because my wrestling is just shit. Okay, my wrestling skills are shit. I was already done with. I don't even know if he was in the same weight class. But he, like, I think won his weight. Won the tournament in his weight. And then supposedly keels over and dies on the mat. Like he passes out. Okay? Now, there's nothing to do with me. I didn't wrestle him. I wasn't near him. He just kind of wrestled some person at the Alamany tournament, I think that was. And then he dies, and the paramedics come in. And supposedly there was no, like, cause of death. And they kind of said, like, we think it's fatigue and dehydration. Because he was always running around in this tight rubber suit, losing weight. Right? So he's in this tight rubber suit, losing weight, and he wins the tournament, and he dies. And the paramedics come in, and like he's dead, and they take him out, whatever. Okay, and I never really thought much about it, like, fuck, you know, what the fuck? I mean, that guy was a good wrestler, and fucking he won, and he died. Okay, so I don't want to go too deep in that. But what I am saying is, how come out of my father not going to any tournaments, any wrestling, or not tournament, any wrestling matches or tournaments for me, right? Not one, or one, and the only one that he went to was one where a guy died on the mat, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, like 85% sure. Okay? Think about that. A doctor goes to see his son wrestle and a guy dies in the tournament. Now, I'm kind of like thinking with like some conspiracy theories here, because most of the shit I've now seen are actual conspiracies and groups of people trying to frame me and make me look crazy and like a violent paranoid schizo, and like I suffer from anxiety and things like that. And it just switches from psychological label and then criminal lies, and it just goes from one thing to the next until they can eradicate me. Okay, with this government eradication agenda since 5 years old. So now, if you think about it, maybe the whole fucking thing was staged. Maybe nothing happened to the guy. He just lied there, sort of played dead for 5 minutes. You can't really see the guy. You're 1,000 feet away in the stands. So how can you see if he's breathing or not, right? They wheel him out with the paramedics, say he's dead. Maybe nothing ever even happened to him. Maybe they faked the whole fucking thing. Now, I don't want to go too deep into conspiracy theories, but what I am saying is, it's strange this event happened. It's strange that that's the only tournament I'm pretty sure my father ever went to. And it's strange that 30 fucking years later, my father's sort of interrogating and saying, trying to cover up shit, saying that he's been to every single one of my wrestling matches, and Lorena Escobar is asking me if I'm violent. And we have the police and government hunting me since 5 years old with one of their their bullshit labels saying I'm a violent paranoid schizo to justify my eradication, even though I have no clinical labels other than maybe an angry mother playing doctor on me or something like that, right? Because I said fuck you to my mother, so I'm a violent paranoid schizo. I said fuck you to my mother in our one and only conversation or arguments ever up until 29 and finding out. So maybe she got mad. My son said fuck you to me. He's a violent paranoid schizo. He needs to die. Who knows? I'm just sort of trying to fill in the gaps here. Things that don't make any sense. Okay? Because none of this is true. Okay. Why is my father interrogating me at 38 years old about these weird, freaky questions and then making up lies that he's been to every one of my wrestling matches, right? When he's only been to one, and I think it was that one. Okay, next topic. So I'm just kind of making you understand. Now these things I'm explaining to you go from one thing sequentially to the next for 42 years. Okay, but that was pretty fucking interesting, right? And why is Lorena asking me if I'm violent when they're fucking psychotic murderers hunting me down, doing the same things they supposedly did to Janet Nordet, and making up every lie, and they keep calling the cops, making up newer and newer lies, and then they keep following me to public places, hunting me and stalking me, all of them. Lorena Escobar, Fernandez, Simi, Lenore Calderon, Shanna Bryan Seva, George Escobar. There's about 28 of them all working together. They're not doing anything wrong by trying to mentally batter someone to death and kill them or eradicate them. That's all legal. Just don't scream if crowbars keep pounding you in the skull or anything. Okay, because it's illegal to scream. You're a public nuisance if crowbars keep smashing you in the head and you scream. Okay, so uh-oh, looks like some of my notes are gone. I wanted to talk about Agoura and agoraphobia. One of my family's tactics, remember my family with the government, they play either this way or that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're either a saint or you're a psychotic murderer. There's no in between. In my life, there's no in between. You're a saint or a psychotic murderer. It's not about anything, just eradication. One of the scams my father was working on with Janet Nordet is that she has split personality disorders. When she gets angry, her face physically changes. She's a psychotic. She's this, she's that. She supposedly tried to kill him. I can't really tell you what's true or not, but what I can tell you is everything looks like a farce. And there's some strange reason why he got together with Janet Nordet and called me up with Mike Huntley. Mike Huntley, I want you to come back and start a company with me. And my father saying, Kevin, you can live at my house for a year, wanting me to move in right when he's marrying Janet Nordet. Damn it, Janet. I don't know. Now, my father's also running around saying I'm doing all these horrible things to his women. You get it? There's nothing I've done to any of his women. There's nothing I've done to him. I've been a really good fucking person. The guy's a psychotic murderer. And if you tell a joke that he doesn't like, you're a dead man and you're hunted by the world or something like that, right? Things that don't make any fucking sense. Or if you tell your friend in confidence about you growing up and things about you, he magically knows about it. He's hunting you down to kill you and things, or eradicate you and silence you and things like that. Okay? Well, none of it's true, from public nuisance to me being a violent paranoid schizo. Even the fabricated judicial lies and endless slew of falsified paperwork and endless neighbors told to make up lie after lie about me. I have endless proof of all sorts of Google blogs with lie after lie, and Kevin's a violent paranoid schizo, and don't talk to him, and do these things to him. Wait, that's strange, because I don't know any of my fucking neighbors. I moved in, I didn't know one, I didn't really talk to any, and yet I'm a violent paranoid schizo for not even talking to any. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yet there's a worldwide campaign to kill me, and I'm not allowed to know what it's about. Strange? Okay. With the entire judicial system working these angles to eradicate my kind, right? You get the idea. Just doing some videoing here, and they'll say this is a crime and things like that. Okay, so where the hell was I? Janet Nordet. One of my father's lies about Janet Nordet is that she was an agoraphobic. Well, it's interesting that my father has worldwide groups trying to force me and lock me in my house, and then they're saying weird things about me lashing out in anger and rage when I come out of my house, trying to make me look like a violent, paranoid schizo, or the things with Terrence Scroggins contacted by Dincy, told to throw shit all over my property, told to scream at me, run up to me over and over, threatening me, trying to blackmail and extort me over and over. When he tried to steal my money with the HOA, I told him, well, if you try that, I'm going to call, my lawyers will be contacting you. And he jumps back like, get away from me. Well, all I said is my lawyers are going to be contacting you if you try to steal my money. Okay, that's not a violent thing. So Terrence Scroggins, and by the way, Terrence Scroggins was also contacted by therapist Karine Eschigan at around 2013 and told to run up to me yelling, saying I glued his mailbox shut, and me proving that he's a lying piece of shit by saying something like, well, is it crazy glue? Yes, it is. Well, I'm sorry, but if someone were to glue your mailbox shut, which sounds absurd to begin with, this is back in 2013 where they're trying to cover up all that shit. If someone glued Terrence Scroggins' mailbox shut, right? How would he know what the glue manufacturer is? Do you understand? The guy's a lying piece of shit, and I have endless witnesses, which I wasn't allowed to bring into court, which makes no sense or even talk about, stating that Dincy's coming after me 2 days before, and he has a Facebook account, and he's coming after me, which is all screenshotted and screen capped of everything Dincy is doing. Paid off thug by the judicial system. And that wasn't allowed in the court while Seymour Amster was trying to make me look crazy with opening and closing arguments and forcing me to go up on the stand, which he lied to my therapist, saying that I'm crazy, I want to go on the stand, and I want to be in a mental institution. Sound a little strange? Also weird, freaky things from my lawyer saying I'm lashing out at people. I'm not fucking doing a thing. I'm the fucking victim. I'm the target. They're trying to mob me to death with worldwide support, and since fucking 5 years old, nonstop. Okay. And Brittany has witnessed all that, and she's confessed to that, or I don't want to say confessed, but stated in all my videos that she's witnessing, and I've done fucking nothing. Okay, so you can watch those videos. And she's witnessed these mass attacks, from subliminal to aggressive. Where are we? And now they kind of want to debunk her, which is strange. Okay, back to the point. Janet Nordet is supposedly an agoraphobic. Yeah, okay. Interesting. The same things that were being said about Janet are being done to me. Now, remember, I keep working on this twin and schizo angle. They've been working on me with these Kevin's a schizo since 5 years old. And they keep trying to turn around on me and cover it up. And then say I'm a public nuisance or whatever, when they realize that I'm not crazy and I'm perfectly sane and I'm way the fuck more stable than them and most of the people on the planet. Okay. So, Janet Nordet was also supposedly suffered from mental illness and an agoraphobic. Do you see a pattern of my family trying to force me in my house? and then say Kevin's an agoraphobic, then he's lashing out in rage when he comes out, and we need to put Kevin in a mental institution because he's agoraphobic, and then, of course, then it's about anxiety, and then it's about he's a violent paranoid schizo, and it's this, and then it's that. Well, even though I don't have proof and can't make a really good connection, I have a feeling this has to do with something about Agoura and Agoura High, especially when my dad had his friend Ryan Gold, a lawyer, Ryan Gold going ballistic on me. Kevin, do you want to go up to my lake house? I'm going to sick lawyer Ryan Gold and his family on you, as if you've done something to Ryan Gold's now, right? And he's also hinting about Ryan Hirsch, a kid in 8th grade that Brian Weaver bullied for 15 minutes. And they both got together and told the principal that I bullied Ryan Hirsch. Okay. Well, first of all, even if I were to bully a kid, kind of, sort of, for 15 minutes without even physically touching him, oh, that's right, Brian kind of grabbed his head and kind of pushed it into a pole. Something like that. Even if that was the case, I wouldn't be hunted by a planet of people going, when you were 10 years old, 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 with this complete fucking obsession. But the bottom line is that, once again, everyone else's things are being pinned on me, and then I'm being followed from place to place, city to city, state to state, with a planet full of people, hunted. Now, his name was Ryan Hirsch. If you want to get into their schizo reference naming conventions to try to make me crazy or look crazy, Hirsch means chocolate, right? Like a Hershey bar. Not means, but is like a Hershey bar. And my family is mad at me for kissing a black girl at Sunny Skies Day Camp, or T1 school, telling the world I'm a white supremacist. Brian Weaver bullying Ryan Hirsch for 15 minutes. That being pinned on me. Then, where are we? Then after that, right, the black people, black women, the Ryan Hirsch, the Kevin kissed the black girl, how dare he? We're gonna have to eradicate him for that. Things that don't really make much sense. Then my father buys a lake house with lawyer Ryan Golds from Agoura by Agoura High. I don't really understand the connection other than, well, maybe Tracy Lords went to Agoura High because Mike Huntley's girlfriend's name was Tracy, and then towards the end of our relationship, I supposedly did something to Tracy, his girlfriend, too. I don't know. But they're trying to flip me out and spin my mind and make me look like a violent paranoid schizo and things like this. So my father's using these name references. Ryan Golds, just like Golden State Sports Medical. His friend, he buys a lake house in Victorville. One of the bullies, one of the people who bullied me, Victor, when I was a young child. I think Ryan Golds was trying to be like an extension of Ryan Hirsch, and I'm gonna get my revenge on you with my family. I'm gonna get revenge on you with my family for what you did to Ryan Hirsch, even though there's nothing I did to Ryan Hirsch, just like there's nothing I did to Jason Gordon but be punched in the stomach, right? You get the idea? And Jason Gordon, working with Jason Perlman, are trying to cover up those things in 9th grade or 8th grade as well. Yeah, that's actually around the same time. Think about that. 8th grade, Jason Perlman with Robbie Leff working with Jason Gordon has Jason Gordon punch me in the stomach, and at the same time, Brian Weaver in 8th grade kind of sort of bullies Ryan Hirsch for 15 minutes, and then they pin that on me, so they got to cover up both of those incidences as well. So my father, mad at me, with zero communication skill, because what did my father tell me? I know what I did, but people aren't told what they did because they can lie. My mother told me my past caught up with me, but refuses to specifically tell me what I've done, trying to hint about my past and make me try to figure out and give them coerced false confessions so that they can make what they're doing to me look justified to the world with the police, government, psychology community. Then they run around saying I'm a violent paranoid schizo, just like every time I call the police when something's done to me, they turn it around on me and they write up falsified police reports. Okay? And then I go to the police station with video of things being done to me, and they refuse to take the video. Need I say more? It's an agenda. If I have proof, but they won't take it, it's an agenda. They're being paid off to eradicate me with the psychology community. Okay. So, my father working with his lawyer friend from Agoura, by Agoura High, Ryan Golds. What's his deal with Agoura? The only thing I can think of is the wrestling and the Agoura wrestler dying, which probably didn't even die, because when I go through these things, you're like, holy shit, that's crazy. The amount of time and energy, the strategic planning to try to make Kevin look crazy or flip Kevin out. It's insane. It's unfucking fathomable. Teachers are generally told to tell students to punch kids like Mr. Quigley. And Miss Tunick, English teacher in 11th grade, I have a feeling it's very strange she wanted us to read A Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick, because that's a pretty fucking violent book or movie. And what kind of English teacher in 11th grade wants you to read books about raping and killing people in gangs? Okay. Oh, and then Mr. Baylor wanting the class to write obituaries. Our own obituaries, right? Think about that. Okay, so these are all strategic and directed at me with agendas to rid me of the world. Lock me in jail cells, mental institutions, make me look crazy out of someone's hate and rage and jealousy. Okay, so where the hell am I going with this? So we're kind of back to the, why is my father so obsessed? Why is my family so obsessed now? They've changed. That Kevin suffers from anxiety and has agoraphobia. And working the angle to try to stop me from ever leaving my house. If you understand where I'm going with that. Right, they're sort of doing these weird double meanings and split. You suffer from agoraphobia. You did something in Agoura. It's something about Agoura High. It's something about Damon Riggins, the football player, who's a black football player in your high school. It's just, but there's nothing ever specific. There's nothing ever specific about anything, because it's not really about anything. It's just to try to make me look crazy, to remove me from society. But the only thing I can connect from Agoura High is those events, agoraphobia, the wrestler dying, all the freaky things done to me in high school on the wrestling team that I didn't even know were going on, and who knows? Who fucking knows? And then you might sort of try to link it to Tracy Lords or something that went to Agoura High. I don't know. It's all very strange, right? Okay, so, because they're mad at me. That's right. They're mad at me for buying the Lord's gym shirt. So they're mad at me for buying a Lord's gym shirt. Right? I mean, and their argument is that because at Southern Oregon State College when I was 20, I bought a comical Lord's Gym shirt at the comedy shirt shop, then I'm a public nuisance because someone didn't like my shirt. Okay? Well, that's the same argument it's okay to rip. That's the same argument as it's okay to rape women because they're wearing sexy clothing or skimpy clothing or something, right? There is no argument. But who are the people stating these arguments? The police and government. Kevin's riling up the masses. Kevin's making the masses hunt him down and kill him because he bought this joking shirt. Well, it all comes back to the same thing. How do the masses in Hawaii and anywhere else know what shirts I buy in Oregon, right? Especially before the internet. How do they know, right? How do they know what these shirts are, right? How do they know? How do people in Russia and Ukraine and Japan know what shirt I'm wearing in 1992? Kevin's launching a worldwide campaign against himself to have himself killed by riling up the masses by the shirt that somebody doesn't like, and it's his fault. Right? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I just sort of wanted to go to kind of get to the point of the judicial system and agoraphobia and things like that. Okay, now this is interesting. I've now seen people following me in huge numbers wearing those little masks, like the operating masks, trying to pretend they have OCD. I believe Lenore Calderon would work that angle at my father's office now and then, and she'd wear gloves pretending she had OCD, and things like that. And so it looks like they're now ramping up those angles. So the question is, this guy has one right here. The people that just walked out there to cars, the boy and the couple both were wearing them. Okay, so the question is, right? So these are all strategic things being done to try to provoke me into reactions. This, in the gang stalking world, in the gang stalking world of gang stalking targets, which I am, and I had to read about this to understand what was being done to my life. What they're doing right now, today alone, I've seen about 6 people with those masks on their face. You know, they go back here, you would wear an operating, pretending they have OCD. Today's 10/11/2019. That is called street theater. Everyone gets together and dramatizes something to try to make you look crazy. Okay, so that's what's known as street theater. And the judicial system doesn't want me talking about these things being done to my life because they have an agenda to exterminate me, to eradicate my fucking existence, no matter what it takes, to lock me in jail cells, mental institutions, you name it, out of some kind of secret hate, rage, and security, just like Adolf Hitler, with the psychology community starting at 5 years old. And so they're doing this street theater thing. I mean, this has always been done. Example, if I drive home and here's one right here, people parking their cars and leaving the lights on and leaving their cars or waiting in their cars with lights on directed at me. That's what's called street theater. Or this huge grouping of red cars right here all together. That's called street theater, right? Okay? It's a tactic to try to make someone crazy, to get reactions, and a lot of times with the police and government. Okay. So anyways, I kind of got a little sidetracked, curved, or diverted from what I'm talking about, and then they're going to say, well, Kevin's mind races, and we need to put him in a mental institution. And they might be doing that because when I was 16, I peeled out my car a few times. Okay? You get it? People aren't hunted and killed with worldwide support for peeling out in their car at 16 a few times. The amount of car accidents, hit and runs, and all sorts of shit I have on video alone from people around this area, the hypocrites saying I need to be removed from society, no one's concerned about them, just Kevin farting wrong. Okay, hence back to the point. It's an agenda. It's an eradication agenda to lock me away no matter what it takes. No matter how good of a person I am, no matter how perfect of a person I am, it's an eradication agenda. And I think I'm at the end here, which is good timing, of what I wrote down. I didn't write down a super lot of notes on these are just some random passing thoughts about my childhood that my family's trying to cover up with the government. I can't give you a direct connect between Agoura High, Tracy Lords, or Ryan Golds, lawyer Ryan Golds in Agoura, who is stalking me with my father, buying their lake house in Victorville, and my father wanting to invite me with Ryan Golds and his family to ambush me and terrorize me and torture me while they get me down to Victorville to hint about Victor, another bully kid that bullied me when I was young, very young in age, which they're all trying to cover up. But I believe my mother keeps babbling over and over, well, you suffer from anxiety, you suffer from anxiety. Well, I don't suffer from anxiety. I have mass groups stalking me. That's going to create a good amount of anxiety, but it's not a mental illness. And the more I go out and live my life, the more the judicial system and psychology community, except Brittany Henderson, will say Kevin never leaves his house and he's crazy and has anxiety and this and that, so we got to put him in a mental institution. The latest angle, but they don't want me leaving my house, and we even have Dincy threatening me before the arrest, you better stay in your house, you don't leave your house. Right? Well, if some cop's following me around, let me rephrase that. If some paid-off thug cop like Sean Dincy is paid off to hunt me, blackmail me, build these mass neighborhood watch mobs to torture me into my house and say you never leave your house, and then on the front of his Facebook says, how do we put people in mental institutions? How do we force people into mental institutions? Well, wait a minute. If some fucking sicko paid off in LAPD by the government says you never leave your house and you're crazy because you don't leave your house, need I say more? That's a paid off government eradication agenda to fucking rid someone of the world. And raising my voice there does not mean I am a violent paranoid schizo. It's a human emotion that my family is like afraid of because they have no communication skills. Let's see. Finishing thoughts here. If I'm agoraphobic, and even if that has something to do with Agoura High, which I don't fucking know what scam they're working on with that. Hell, tonight alone, I've been to Porter Ranch. I've been to Las Virgenes, Porter Ranch, a little farther out that way. I'm trying to think of what cities those are. In the last month alone, I've been to all across southern, from Oxnard, Ventura, to the other way, like Orange County, Laguna Beach area, Newport, Redondo, Torrance, Downey, San Fernando, Valencia. So if I'm agoraphobic, that means I can't leave my house, right? Well, there you go. So while the mass groups are trying to figure out how to lock me in a Rhoda or a Maggie cage my entire life, and then say Kevin's crazy and agoraphobic and a violent paranoid schizo, suffers from anxiety, has OCD, what are some of the other ones? Is bipolar, has ADHD. I'm sure I've left out a good 100 of these bullshit labels. None of these labels are on paper, by the way. They're trying to lock me into a mental institution so they can pay someone off. They're trying to lock me into a mental institution to pay someone off to put these fake bunk labels on me to say Kevin's classified with this mental illness. And if they get that, I have all the supporting evidence showing that they're completely fucking full of shit, and they will do anything to eradicate my existence with billions of government dollars and trying to cover up what they've done now to 47 years, whatever, 42 or 47 years of my life, which seems to start because I threw some fucking mud in the street in Woodland Hills, Tierra Street, and some hit a car, because at 5 years old you kind of have tunnel vision. And if you're saying that 5-year-olds have to be like, if you're saying that 5-year-olds have to have the same responsibility as the President of the United States of America, well then something's really fucking wrong with you. That's all I have to say. Okay, so, you get the idea. That's just the bottom line. Now, every company known to man has been contacted, paid off. Every security company, like Allied Universal Security, to ADT, to Securitas AB, originated out of Sweden, Golden West, Archon, who else? Archon, I'm sure I have a whole bunch of others. Private specialist or something out of Agoura. Some girl running in front of my, like, yelling at me that I'm weird and trying to throw her body in front of my car while videoing me. An actual security person trying to set me up, which Brittany's seen on video. Oh, I need to... Okay, sorry, that I needed to get that to someone. I forgot about that. All involved in these strategic coordinated events. I think I'm going to end this video here. This one's a shorter one. Let me just look at the important topics. Excuse me. That's a behavioral crime right there, especially in the privacy of my car. Most important, my behavior. I've quoted my cousin Vinney lines or other movie lines or joked around with him on social networks, so I'm being hunted by the judicial system, even though it would have been something else if I didn't do that. Okay, yeah. Do people give a flying fuck if you're joking around on your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram wall quoting movie lines or joking around? No, they don't give a shit. Most people, if they want to be part of your life or part of your social networks, they push the follow button. And if they don't want to be part of your life, they don't exert any energy and they don't know you exist. And if they all are somehow hijacking your feeds, even if I have 10 Twitter followers, it's going out to the world. And they're hijacking the information feeds, which is easily doable with the APIs. and kind of building their own stalking channel in secret. That's one of their tactics. So you don't generally launch a worldwide spy operation to try to make someone look like a violent paranoid schizo, is the point I'm getting at. And people aren't mad at people for saying mean things like, does the case hold water? Or they don't get mad at you for acting like a clown or joking around with a clown nose or a wig. They don't get mad at you for that. Now, if someone's going to try to say that I'm a public nuisance for putting on a wig, or wait, let's see, I don't know if I have enough light here. Okay, wait. If someone's going to say that Kevin is a public nuisance, I'm trying to get my app loaded here so I can see. If someone's going to try to say that I'm a public nuisance, we're losing light now, this is a nightmare. Kevin's a public nuisance. Oh, look, I'm a public nuisance. Look what I just did. I've ruined everyone's life worldwide. How dare I? Now you gotta file public nuisance charges and try to dig for any dirt to use against me because I'm ruining everyone's life by this joke, and the judicial system needs to hunt me down and kill me over this or lock me in cages or mental institutions. Right? You get the idea. It's not anything that anyone gives a shit unless they have some kind of personal vendetta, want you dead or gone, no matter what it takes. And why does this personal vendetta start at 5 years old? I have no fucking clue. It's very weird. Okay, it's not really a personal vendetta. It's a psychology community. We want to lock them away because we don't trust them or like them or something like that. Insecurity, just like Adolf Hitler. People don't give a shit about things like that. People don't care about my little clown videos. I'm a clown, ha! Kind of being sarcastic about the assholes running around saying Kevin committed the clown crime, so we have to eradicate him or kill him. Well, people don't walk around. You said a mean thing crime. You committed the date didn't work out well crime. You're an asshole. You committed the asshole crime because you mouthed off to someone or someone mouthed off to me and I mouthed off back. And according to Daddy Ronald Perlman, you're not allowed to defend yourself. My point is that people don't give a flying fuck about these things. And if they're hunting you down for 42 years going, you farted in public, you're a public nuisance, and we have to eradicate you. You chewed with your mouth open at 7, you're a public nuisance, we have to eradicate you. You bought a camera and you went out and you did candids or you did sunrise and sunset pictures, and some people walked in your frame and they weren't happy that the camera went click. These aren't things that people care about. They aren't things that are delivered to the police and government on NSA operations. We're watching everything you do because someone's upset that they think you might have taken their picture. And then you have companies like Allied Universal Security following you from place to place saying you committed a crime because you took a picture of someone on a private property, alluding to being on the Universal Studio lot or at Universal Studios with 100,000 people with cameras, and you took a fucking picture, and Allied Universal Studios is actually paid off to hunt me down and try to get reactions, babbling, you've committed a crime for taking a picture on the Universal Studios lot or on the front of Universal Studios by the Globe or the Brian Longbotham, Tia Leone, and Martin Sheen frame jobs. You took a picture of an actor, a public image actor. You took a picture of them, so we're hunting you down. That doesn't make any sense with little cryptic messages about Universal Studios that you took a picture on their property. And they also leave out the fact that I worked on the fucking back lot with Brian Longbotham sent after me. Working all sorts of angles and trying to pin all my brother's bullshit on me. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of end this here. Aside from everywhere I've been, the car mental illness tactics, today there's been a huge, especially with Asians, huge groups of people told to wear those operating masks, pretending that they have OCD. Okay? Now, I see this once in a blue moon with someone who might actually have OCD. I think I've seen about 5 or 6 from about 4 p.m. to it's 1 a.m. Okay, that's a little out of the norm here. And Ralph's employees and couples together. So, example, if some girl has OCD and has the mask on, why does the husband also have the mask on, right? Okay, I don't think so. That is what's called in the gang stalking world, from what I've read, street theater. And just a side note, the judicial system is trying to cover up the fact that when I originally put out my website and it was called Kevin Perlman Gang Stalking, they're trying to turn it around that Kevin's gang stalking people and putting websites about it. Yet the content on the website has always been the same. I'm being hunted, I'm a target. I just wanted to make the name clearer, because when you're being hunted by a planet of people, you don't have the name, you don't have the time or energy to act like a $100 million business with think tanks to make everything perfect. You're just trying to get the fucking information on the web so people stop hunting you down and killing you, and the judicial system just magically can't read what's on the website or look at the content. They just look at the web domain. That's it. Okay, well, I don't fucking think so. Just like Detective Shapiro, I have photos of me being attacked by a dog. Let me rephrase that. I have videos of the dog attacker attacking me with his dog. I have photos of me in the hospital with ripped clothing and dog bites. And then Detective Shapiro says, no, there's nothing here, because at the top of the fabricated doctor's report it says you suffer from delusional disorders. Now, under Kevin suffers from delusional disorders, treated for dog bites. Oh, but I just didn't feel like reading the rest of the report. Right? You understand? Yeah, okay, sure. If those motherfuckers aren't paid off to have me fucking hunted and killed or eradicated, locked away for the crime of being born and trying to rid me of the world since 5 years old, then, I mean, it doesn't even get any more obvious than that, right? Okay, so I think I'm going to end this here. That's pretty much it. And okay, so I was just kind of documenting some more things with my camera, and they're going to say I'm a public nuisance for documenting me being hunted and attacked by simply getting proof of a horrific crime against me. And that is and has been the entire problem since 5 years old and getting older. You're not allowed to defend yourself. You don't talk or we kill you or lock you away or eradicate you or try to force you into mental institutions. So that's pretty much it. Until next video blog. And this one was shorter, but I think it has some good, useful information about Agoura High, the wrestling things. They're mad at me for joining the wrestling team, which doesn't make any sense, and things like that. Also, other people linked to these events. Connie Raya at my father's office mad at me for joining the wrestling team, and things like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it.